Yeah, yeah. Hi everyone. So welcome to PW OnlyIAS, and today we are here to understand or to give first reaction. Ki haan, what is this General Studies Paper 1 of 2025? Right. So very soon we'll be receiving the paper. As soon as we'll get that, we'll look into it. But before that, we would like to see what has happened previously, what has happened last year. Not even a single word is audible. I hope it is clear now. Please confirm audio, video, everything is fine now. Yeah, all okay. Hardik, Prince Raj, Atul, Sumit Janghel, Devanshu, Anshika, MK, Anna, Atul. Okay, so my first request is ki those of you who are preparing for UPSC CSE, right? And just assume that you are giving the paper today, right? And after this first reaction, try to solve the paper. Yeah, try to solve the paper, and it will be great if somebody can give you feedback over it, right? If somebody can evaluate the copy and give you feedback, and this will actually help you understand how much you are prepared. Also, if you are prepared, you'll be very much confident to see ki you are very much prepared. You already know what is being asked. That is one important thing. Another thing is if you are not prepared, then also you'll get to know, right? And what is missing, where you are lacking. So in the end, it is the main examination which will ensure your final selection, right? And it is not the prelims, which is the final hurdle. It is basically the main examination, which is the final hurdle, in which you have to ensure that, let's say in general studies papers, you are securing more than 100 marks, right? 110 in GS2, 110 in GS3, and somewhere around, let's say 140, 150 in ethics paper, in general studies 4. This should be your target. So during this period, when UPSC mains papers are going on, assume that you are appearing into this paper, and every day, right? And every day try, best would be ki you actually give the paper, right? And allocate those 3 hours on that paper and see how much you can write. Also ensure that you are writing in proper UPSC standard copy, right? In a UPSC format. So you exactly know, right? And how much pages you are consuming, right? How much space you are consuming, every paragraph, how much space that is consuming. That is also very, very important. PDF, yes. So PDF I'll share on this Telegram channel. Also, right now we'll be looking at the paper. We'll be analyzing what type of questions came, what topics UPSC covered in these in this particular paper, whether ancient India continues its spree, right? They are asking ancient India for last 2-3 years, and what we have realized earlier, ancient India was not there into main examination, right? But right now, from last 3 years, we are observing that they are asking ancient India, direct ancient India main questions in UPSC CSE mains, right? So it is very, very important to study ancient India. We'll see that whether that continues today or not, or maybe they will switch to culture. Let's see today. So yeah, so what we have seen last year, right? Before we get the paper we are yet to receive, and as soon as we'll have the paper, we'll see it together, right? I've not seen the paper yet, right? So we'll see it together. Ki whatever the paper is, together we'll be watching it, together we'll be analyzing it. Ki what all questions, what all topics were were used in this particular examination. Yeah, I guess we already have the paper. So meanwhile, before we get onto the paper, so now we have the paper, by the way. Let me refresh this. Okay. So last year, what we have seen, there was fair allocation to history and geography. History, geography, both were allocated 75 marks. But the lion's share had gone to society. Society, UPSC had asked for 100 marks. Though in the question, if you see, there is consistency in history part, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 7, 6, and society 7, 7, 6, 6. So you hardly see any much variation. Last year, geography questions were more. There were 8 questions from geography. But otherwise, more or less, if we look at the score perspective, there is hardly any variation into the paper, right? And similarly, what I said, the ancient part, right? The ancient part is gradually becoming very, very important. This we have to look into today's paper, whether they had asked ancient India or not. Also, we'll look into whether weightage of modern India in prelims examination, weightage of modern India got increased. right? So let's see whether that will happen in the main examination or not. So I will not keep you waiting. Let's go ahead with the paper. By the way, I said ki you can also attend this particular paper today, and after that 7 p.m. you can use this simulator, right? Go and upload the paper, and the copy will also be evaluated, right? So you'll get the feedback, you'll get to know ki how is your preparation. So let's not waste time. Let's come to 2025 paper. So this is the first question. Discuss the salient features of the Harappan architecture, right? Okay. So many of you will be very happy to see this first question. Can discuss the salient features of the Harappan architecture. Now the second question is shocking, right? Look at the second question. So we a lot of time we basically eliminate, for last 2-3 years we were eliminating Mughals history from you can say from the discussion. We were assuming that UPSC will not be asking Mughals. Second question says examine the main aspects of Akbar's religious syncretism, right? So they had asked Mughal, right? This is the surprising factor. This was the factor which was not expected, right? We were not at all expecting Mughals into the paper, but Mughals are there. Luckily we have studied, right? I'm assuming you were part of the classes, right? Luckily we had studied Mughal history, we had studied medieval India, and we had studied this topic very much in detail, right? Both the topics actually. Harappan architecture is very simple, very simple, right? And I'm assuming this will give you a lot of confidence, right? It is about the citadel. This is about the planning. Citadel is having a lot of public building. There are a lot of private buildings, right? And then lower town is also having grid planning. So first question is a very straightforward, simple question. Salient features of the Harappan architecture. Second, examine the main aspects of Akbar's religious syncretism. It is basically about Deen-e-Ilahi, his religious policy. Third question, the sculptures filled the Chandela art form with resilient vigor and breath of life. Elucidate. So Chandela art form is about Khajuraho school of architecture. So temple architecture they were anyway asking, but this is again bit surprising. For last 4-5 years UPSC was avoiding, right? UPSC was avoiding very technical question from art and architecture, but since it's a very prominent topic, right? Khajuraho school of architecture is a very prominent topic, and Chandela sculpture is something they had asked, right? Chandela sculpture, more of the most prominent part of Chandela architecture or Chandela sculpture especially is eroticism, right? These are very erotic sculptures, but it's not only about eroticism or the erotic sculptures. It is also about that Chandela temple sculptures basically depict the life of the society, right? Not daily life, what is happening in the daily life, what is happening in an urban city. So that was something being depicted in Chandela Khajuraho architecture, right? So sculptors filled the Chandela art form with resilient vigor and breath of life. So the same question they had asked, it is about the life, it depicts the life of that era. Fourth question, so three questions from history, but none of them till now is from modern India. They have asked ancient India, they have asked proper medieval India. This is not culture question, and there is a proper culture question. So ancient medieval culture, right? So it is not only culture which is UPSC asking, but the surprising factor is now UPSC has asked the core medieval topic. This has never ever happened. So this is core medieval topic which they are asking, which is Akbar's religious policy. So now that means going forward for next year, you will have to study medieval from the mains perspective as well. Of course, the prominent topics only, but still you will have to focus on the mains prominent medieval prominent topics for the sake of main examination. Now let's come to the geography part. How are climate change and the sea level rise affecting the very existence of? So by the way, let us take a note first. So what we have seen, we saw ancient, one direct question from ancient of 10 marks. Right, then one direct question from medieval, 10 marker, and then we also saw culture, core culture question, 10 marker. Right, now let's get back. Other than that, yes, so geography, how are climate change and the sea level rise affecting the very existence of many island nations? Discuss with examples. I don't think there can be a more famous or prominent question. Zoom the paper. Okay, just a second. Okay, let me do a separate thing. Do we have the whole paper? Okay, wait. By the way, how many of you are confident in first three questions? I'm assuming there are a lot of Sankalp, Pinnacle, Prahar students over here. Yeah, the whole paper is here. It is better to go this way. Okay, now they have zoomed actually. Still, I think this is better. All the questions are here. 10 questions, 11, 12, 13, 14, 18, 19, 20. Fine. Okay. So let's do this way. Yeah, easy, easy. You can do all three. Great, great. Okay. Let me zoom, right? And let me help you have a look at the question. Okay. So yeah, this one. Visible? Yeah, I think this is good enough. Right, further zoom will actually dilute this. Okay, so now fourth question. So three questions we have seen. One was discuss the salient features of Harappan architecture. One was examine the main aspects of Akbar's religious syncretism. Is this much zoom is good enough? Yeah. Yeah. Examine the main aspects of Akbar's religious syncretism. Great. And then sculptors filled the Chandela art form with resilient vigor and breath of life. Elucidate? Yes. Right now, okay, again. So again, now let's come to geography questions. How are climate change and the sea level rise affecting the very existence of many island nation? Discuss with examples. I'm assuming this is a very prominent question for all of you. Right, again a very discussed topic, climate change. Right, and a climate change, it will affect the sea level rise and it will affect existence of many island nations. A lot of islands will be gone. Very a straightforward topic. Then what are the non-farm primary activities? How are these activities related to physiographic features in India? Discuss with suitable examples. Right, not again, I'll not say ki haan from the mainstream, but again related to agriculture, non-farm primary activities. Right, how are these activities related to physiographic features in India? So you were required to connect the physiographic features and non-farm activities. I'll not say ki it's a very straightforward question, but still a doable question. Right, then next, explain briefly the ecological and economic benefits of solar energy generation in India with a suitable example. So I'm assuming ki there was a discussion, you must have read this, ki what is the potential, what is the you can say this potential of India, how much solar energy we can generate. So solar potential of India, that is one of the prominent discussion we do. So I'm assuming this is something which is also doable, right? And maybe you will face some challenges in the fifth question, but sixth is fine, right? Solar potential, I'm assuming this is fine. Yeah, okay. Now let's go further. The geography 2 questions we have seen. Seventh question is, tsunami kya hai? What are tsunamis? How and where are they formed? What are their consequences? Explain with examples. I'm assuming Harpreet sir was already doing this particular discussion. Ki what is tsunami and how is this formed? This was done in this particular channel as well. Right now, the tsunami, again a very prominent topic. So at least I can say ki 8 are very prominent out of these 10 questions. And surprising part is ki till now we have not seen any society question. Why? 6, 7, yeah. Achha, in 7 questions we have not seen society question. Now let's come to 8th question. Now from here the society starts. The 4 questions were from geography. I'm leaving geography analytical part to Harpreet sir. Yeah, the geography. Further bifurcation let him do. Right, so 4 questions we found and again 40 marks. Geography till now. Right, now the geography is dominating till now. Now let's go to society part. Society. भारत में स्मार्ट शहरी गरीबी और वितरणात्मक न्याय के मुद्दों को कैसे संबोधित करना है. राइट ना, हाउ डज स्मार्ट सिटी इन इंडिया address the issues of urban poverty and distributive justice? Is smart city also a very much discussed topic? Yeah, smart city. Smart city. How many of you have already read smart city? How many of you think ki ha, this is doable? You have to connect the idea of concept of smart city with how it is solving two things. One is urban poverty, right? Na, urban poverty, and second is distributive justice. Ki will this, you can say, benefit of smart city only be attributed to the upper class or to the rich class, or will also affect or will also be beneficial for the lower classes, right? And so that connection we had to establish in this particular question, right? Smart city is a topic which is discussed in society as well as in geography, but I'm assuming ki, this is more of a society question, and you must have read this in society. Then again, society, again, one more question. Ethos of civil services in India stand for the combination of professionalism with nationalistic consciousness. Ethos of civil services in India sounds more like a question from ethics. Ethos of civil services in India stands for the combination of professionalism with nationalistic consciousness. So here we had to connect what? He had to connect civil services, right? Ethos of civil services, or the idea of civil services, or ethics of civil services with the professionalism and nationalistic consciousness. Again sounds like, this question more sounds like this is a question from ethics. Now if you have a very good understanding of ethics and society, right, this was a cakewalk, right? And I think you can do this. Do you think that globalization results in only an aggressive consumer culture? Justify your answer. Now this is about ki after opening up, after liberalization, right, we see a lot of foreign brands coming into India. They are selling goods. For example, Mac is there, or Apple is there. Apple is one of the most you can say used product right now, one of the most popular product right now. So do we see that this globalization, this opening up or the liberalization thing is only limited to this consumer culture? Ki it is all about having these brands in India, right? We are consuming a lot of foreign brands. Is it only about that? Good question. Right, so this is globalization. So again, coming from society only, so a question from civilization, a question on civil services, a question in smart city. So 3 questions. Now this here, till now it seems like the focus on society comparatively is less. Yeah, 30. Last year society was dominating. This year it seems like geography will dominate. Now let's go to the bigger part, 15 markers. Yeah, question number 11. Here comes your modern India. So till now there was nothing from modern India. Now let's come to modern India again. So Mahatma Jyotirao Phule's writing and efforts of social reforms touched issues of almost all subaltern classes. Discuss. Is this directly from the class? Right, Jyotiba Rao Phule and a role of contribution of Jyotiba Rao Phule in the freedom struggle, or especially we have read about him when we were talking about low caste movements, right? So-called low caste movements we were talking about, and then we had discussed what is exactly the philosophy of Jyotiba Rao Phule. He was a pioneer in 1850s. He was the one who established the tone. Very easy question, very easy question. Ki Mahatma Jyotiba Rao Phule, a prominent personality, they had asked. Very good, right? And very much doable, and you can score really good in this particular question. I would like you all to attend this. Second, trace India's consolidation process. This is post-India. Now, in the post-independence classes, also in modern India classes, I said ki the only important topic which in post-independence is consolidation. Right? UPSC every time, each and every time, they ask same question, ki how this consolidation had happened, how this integration had happened. But again, let's go deeper into this. So trace India's consolidation process during early phase of independence in terms of polity, economy, education, and IR. That's good. Ki in this particular question, it is not limited to only political integration. They have introduced some dimensions as well. Yes, they had introduced some dimensions as well. Ki you have to talk about consolidation, not in terms of only integration, but what all political things happened after independence, what things we did in economy, what things we did in education, what things we did in international relations. Right? So it has opened up so many dimensions in this. So it is not only about integration, a bit you can say a bit of understanding of all these topics or all these dimensions are required? Yes, those who have attended the post-independence classes, or even if you have read post-independence once, right, this is doable, right, and a very easy question. Now they have asked world history as well. So this time they have given focus to each and every subject. A lot of time what happens ki either they will ask post independence or they will ask world history. Right, now very rare it happens ki they ask both the topics together. So the French Revolution has enduring relevance to the contemporary world. Now again, it's a one of the most famous French Revolution, American Revolution. So French Revolution, the concept of French Revolution, the violence, the philosophy, all those things, how much it is relevant in the contemporary world? Explain. So you'll have to talk about all the aspects of French Revolution, the philosophical development under French Revolution, liberty, equality, fraternity, the violence or the method applied in the particular you can say revolution, that also has to be taken care of. Plus also the participation of the people, how people are participating, segmentation in the people, all these things you can discuss and connect it to the contemporary world. Yes, this is also a very doable question. So 3 questions, right, easy to go for. So in 15 marker, modern India, 1 question, post independence, 1 question, and French Revolution world history, 1 question. All are prominent topics, easily doable. Yeah, so you could have scored well in this particular segment. Yeah, okay. So now let's go further. 13th question, 14th question. Give a geographical explanation of the distribution of offshore oil reserves of the world. And this is directly from your syllabus as well. Distribution of resources, etc. We have to study. So they have asked for a distribution of oil reserve resources all over the world. Right, I'm assuming you have studied this, and this was also doable. This is also one of the, you can say, one of the prominent topics to be discussed in the world history, world geography. Right, so this is geography. So 1 question from geography. Again, how can artificial intelligence, see, they have asked AI as well, and drones be effectively used along with GIS and RS techniques in locational and aerial planning? Now this is a very practical question, application based question, where they are asking if you have to plan for some area, for example there is some disaster, for example there is cyclone, for example there is flood, right, how you can prepare for it using GIS, right, using artificial intelligence, using drones, right, and all these things, how you will apply. So this is more about application, right. Again, this is something, if you are into current affair, if you have attended geography classes, if you know GIS system, etc., this was easily doable. But still, the more mark will be given for more innovation. Yeah. Okay. So 15 marker. Okay, so this is again geography only. Discuss how the changes in shape and sizes of continents and ocean basins of the planets take place due to tectonic movement of the crustal masses. So this is physical geography, right? Geomorphology, and this is again a straightforward question from plate tectonics. Discuss how the changes in the shape and sizes of continents and ocean basins of the planet due to how these continents are changing, how they are evolving due to this tectonic movement, right? And this is straightforward physical geography question. Again, 17th question. I hope this is visible. Discuss the distribution and density of population in the Ganga river basin with special reference to land, soil and water resources. Right, now this is not simply about there is more population in this particular area, but it is also about you have to discuss not only land but soil and the water resources available, right, and more current affair, etc. you can place into this, right, more relevant examples you can give into this, that will matter, that will help you score more, right. Generic answers everyone will be writing, but it is all about how much relevant points, practical points, applicable points, real time examples or current affair examples you can pour into this particular question. That is more important. Same is in this artificial intelligence question. Generic answer people can give, right, but how much practical, current affair based or science and tech applied based, right, that is something which will decide how much you will score. It is not only about you can attend, it is also about how you're gonna attend. Okay, now let's come to this question. 18th one. How do you account for the growing fast food industries given that there are increased health concerns in modern society? See, there are a lot of discussion. Yeah, there are a lot of discussions about health consciousness. You see Instagram and everywhere. कि हाँ, everywhere people are discussing कि हाँ, junk food, fast food. This is something which is affecting our health adversely, and we need to do something about that. Yes, that is a very discussed topic because there is so much affinity towards fast food, towards junk food right now. कि हाँ, this is important. So again, not generic answers, right? कि हाँ, fast food is bad for the health and all. That is very generic discussion. But how much it is influencing, right? If we can give some data into it, कि हाँ, what effect we have, and how you can say we can avert this, what all solutions can be given. Illustrate your answer with the Indian experience, है ना? कि हाँ, you have to give some Indian experience as well, कि what is Indian scenario, how it is happening in India, how it is affecting in India, what percentage, etc. So if we can give data into this, and this seems question seems generic, but application seems tough to me. कि हाँ, this question I cannot consider कि हाँ, it's a very easy question. This looks very simple कि हाँ, it is affecting. Generic answer can be written, but again the questions which I am observing right now, कि Ganga River Basin, fast food, and especially the AI one, right? I'm not talking about generic answer. This is fine. Physical geography straightforward question, it is fine. To some extent, even Ganga River Basin is also fine, right? But especially the fast food and the AI question, right? It is more about application and the data you can provide, and that will matter. It is not about only attending, right? It is also about how much effectively you can do this particular question. By the way, we'll be having a answer discussion as well in the evening 7 p.m. I think it is already scheduled. You can go and you can say notify yourself. So yes, anyway, so geography, let's mark geography. This was society. So 1, 2 till 18. It's 5 questions, I guess. All right. So geography again dominated. 5 questions of 15 marker. Right, and it's huge. Let us count once. Here from 14. 4 actually, not 5. 5. This is also geography. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. 4 only, not 18th one. 4. Sorry, 4. But anyway, geography has dominated. And again, coming back to society. Yeah. Now let's get back to society again. So 19th question, achieving sustainable growth. Achieving sustainable growth with emphasis on environmental protection could come into conflict with poor people's needs in a country like India. Comment. Again, the question looks very generic, how it will affect. But again, what pointers you bring into this, what solutions you bring into this, what all problems you highlight, this is more important, this particular question. Looks very simple, environmental protection, right, will definitely come into conflict with the people. Yes. Right, somewhere you will have to choose between environmental protection and growth. Right, these two things, development and environmental protection, the development we are observing right now, right, it is consumer based production growth, and this consumer based growth definitely is not sustainable or is not something which is aligned to the environmental protection. So if you go for environmental protection, definitely you will have to compromise on environment, right, on economy, right, and so that will affect the poor class as well. Yes, and very much on the poor class. So yes, this is a very good question. Looks generic, looks simple, but it is not as simple. Again, 20th question, does tribal development in India center around 2 axes, those of displacement and rehabilitation? So now this is a question on tribal assimilation and tribal development. Tribal development centers around 2 axes. Those of displacement, a lot of time they are displaced because of again this development, because of urbanization, because of infrastructural growth. A lot of time they are displaced, and we have to rehabilitate. So first of all they are displaced, and then you have to rehabilitate. Both are having issues, right? Again generic discussion we can have, but that is this question is again not about generic discussion. So especially society, I must tell you, society, a lot of us, lot of us, including me as an aspirant when I was preparing, giving my mains, right? So a lot of us are under this assumption that we know society. Geography, you'll be able to score. It's a static subject, straightforward, right? And a technical concept, even technical topics, questions from geography, you will be able to attend. Technical questions or tough questions from history, you will be able to attend. That is not an issue. But society, a lot of us, as I said, including me, right? Na? A lot of us are always under this assumption that we are pro in society. We can write society. Only thing we need to prepare is geography and history. But that should not be the case, right? Everybody will write generic answer in this if they are not prepared in the society question. And especially that is the reason ki discussion, tonight's discussion, right? Discussion at 7 p.m. is important, because it is not about the generic things we are thinking about. It is also about the technical things which we need to bring into this to substantiate, to basically support our arguments ki haan, what is right, what is wrong, what is happening, how much it is affecting, and what all steps are being taken. All these elements has to be brought into this particular discussion. So this is important, especially society part. You will lose a lot of marks when you will give main examination just because of society, right? I made this mistake, and that's why I want you to not to do this, right? Please do study society along with history and geography. Of course, do study society. Have that, you can say, impact assessment on everything, whether it is tribal, whether it is climate, whatever. So yes, geography and history, I can say ki haan, it was easy, it was doable. Not easy as such, it is still not easy. A lot of students will actually leave this, right? And must have left this. What? Ki haan, thinking UPSC will not ask Mughals. So they had left Mughals, right? And because in the end, a lot of students have this tendency to find out topics first which can be left, and Mughal will be one. Yes, Mughal will be first of it. So yeah. So yes, the Mughal questions, no, though it is a very simple question, but since if you have not studied Mughals, if you left this topic, right, and this question is not doable for you. So my suggestion is ki haan, you in my classes I said ki haan, it is important, right? And whether it seems like it is not important, but still we should study, right? We should not take chances, we should study. Okay, anyway, so examine the main aspects of Akbar religious syncretism. This is something, people will face challenge. Otherwise, Hadappan and all was easy. Chandela, bit technical, right? Again, you can write, but writing a lot of stuff into this, right? That is something which is required. Yeah, geography more or less, it seems doable to me. And good part is that geography weightage is high, right? Geography weightage is very, very high. So geography is weighing around 100 marks. 60 marks plus 40 marks, that is equals to 100 marks, and this is 45 plus 30, 75. So same as last year. So 75 and 75, not same as last year. Last year society was here, society was contributing 100 marks. This year geography is contributing 100 marks. Maybe next year history will contribute 100 marks, but let's not wait for the trend, right? There is no trend in UPSC as such, right? They can still surprise you by maybe having 110 marks in society, right? Still can surprise you. So anyway, so let's meet again in the evening. So I hope you got the point. You have seen the paper. My request is ki please do attend the paper, right? A lot of time you feel that you know it, yeah. A lot of time you see the question, you feel that you know it, but when you actually write it, you get to know ki a lot of things you need to read, a lot of things you need to know. Sometimes you realize ki you have less content, right? So sometimes it is scarcity of content while writing, and sometimes you feel you have so much content and how to fit into these 150 and your head 250 words, right? So both the problems you'll be facing, and you will only be able to solve it if you start writing. So my request from all of you, please go and write this paper so that you exactly feel the pain, where you are stuck, right? What all things are required, and then when we do the discussion in the evening, you will be in the evening you'll be able to first of all relate ki, this was the issue, I thought about this but I could not think about this point, right? Generic way I was able to think in society, but the technical part I was missing, right? So a lot of, you can say, eye opener will be there in the evening today. So let's meet again. Meanwhile, you have the question paper, right? I'll post this question paper on the Telegram channel as well, and do attend it, write it down in the simulator, please submit it as well. Yeah, कि हाँ, there is a simulator test in at 7 p.m. I'm assuming comment is already there. Comment is pinned. You can click on the link and go to the simulator test. That is also I'll post on the Telegram channel. Right. Also these are the batches if you are still planning, still thinking of preparing for UPSC, UPSC, you can opt for 1 year, 2 year or 3 year as per your need, right? 1 year is around 10K, 2 year is around 13.5 and 3 year is around 32K. So as per your need. Also those who are dropper, by the way, if you are a dropper, you can go for repeater batches, Shrijan batches, either in English or in Hindi, and whatever suits you, whatever is required for you, accordingly you can opt for. This is also meant for your help if you need it, right? If you need it, you can definitely explore these options. So let's meet again. Anything else you would like to comment? How many of you are ready to write this particular paper today? या कट ऑफ हाई जाएगा? एक पेपर से तो कट ऑफ नहीं डिसाइड होगा, राइट ना? दूसरा, कट ऑफ इज नॉट समथिंग जिसमें कुछ मायने भी रखता है, राइट ना? इट इज ऑल अबाउट कि हाँ जो है वो 3,000 लोग कितना स्कोर करेंगे. अब रेस में मान लो 3 लोग जीतना है, राइट ना? तो 3 लोग जीतने हैं तो उसमें आप ये नहीं देखेंगे कि हाँ जो है कितने पे थर्ड जो है आया हो, राइट ना? वो टाइम मैटर करता है, बट हाँ वो चीज इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है. कौन 3 है जो सबसे तेज दौड़ते हैं, है कितना भी टाइम लेते हैं. सारे लोग धीमे हैं तो हाँ, तो धीमे वाले जो जीत जाएंगे, राइट ना? सारे लोग तेज हैं तो हाँ, तो फिर जो है सबसे आगे कौन 3 थे, बस यही मैटर करता है. उन 3 का टाइम क्या था, ये बाद में लोग देखते हैं कि कितने टाइम में जो है हो गया समथिंग, राइट? ये बाद में नोट डाउन करते हैं. इन दी एंड आपको फास्टेस्ट होना है, सबसे बेस्ट, जो सबसे अच्छा होना है, टॉप 3000 में होना है, कट ऑफ कुछ भी जाए. या हाउ टू एंश्योर सिलेक्शन इन फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट? Again, my suggestion is ki first of all ensure ki हाँ you are serious for UPSC CSC, right ना? Again, as you see कि हाँ there were 3 papers in this particular paper today, right? 3 subjects in this particular paper today, and 3 subjects in itself is each subject in itself is very vast, right? हाँ तो this is descriptive as well. So what it requires is hard work, right ना? First it requires determination, self-belief ki haan, I work very hard for it. And second, it requires hard work. If you really work hard, right na, then you can get selected into first attempt, right na? Otherwise, the discussion etc ki how to get selected etc, it is bit vague, ambiguous, right? Yes, you can get selected into first attempt, but that requires a very good strategy. If you have a proper strategy and you believe in yourself and you work very hard, yes, you can get selected. या ओके, क्या एक्स्ट्रा एफर्ट लगाना है अगर जो है आपको फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट में सेलेक्ट होना है तो? टेस्ट देना है, राइट ना? कि इन दी एंड ये थ्योरी, नॉलेज, एवरीथिंग इज इमटेरियल, इररिलेवेंट until and unless you appear into test. The final thing which matters is the test, right? Mock test. कि हाँ, the theory etc is all sidelined, all irrelevant. All matters is कि हाँ, how many prelims test you are giving and how much you are scoring, how many mains test or mock test you are giving and how much you are scoring. My separate art and culture course is not available. I'm sorry, Anshika. Right now, it is all together in the batch only. Yeah. Okay. So again, the effort matters. Now today, how many of you are going to give this much effort? Let's see how much serious you are. How many of you are going to give this much effort कि हाँ, you will really go and attend this paper, right? That is something which matters into this preparation. How much hard work you are going to put into, right? And a comfortable path, is not for selection. It is not the comfort level which will decide ki haan, whether you will get selected or not. It will be always the hard work which will decide ki whether you will be selected or not. Yeah, सर मेंस के सब्जेक्ट दिसंबर तक कंप्लीट कर लेना है या फिर मार्च तक भी कर सकते हैं, है ना? ट्राई कि हाँ, you prepare all the main subject, you finish your main examination by December. That is preferable, right? You can stretch till January as well, but I suggest not to go beyond January. I'm in Pinnacle 2027. Yes, I'm in Pinnacle 2027, Anshika. Yes, I'm teaching right now. I'm currently teaching in the previous batch. I'm currently teaching in Pinnacle. I'm teaching Modern India. Right, half of the course is done. Right, but you can join next batch of Pinnacle. there also I'll be teaching, and I'll take up all the topics. Prarambh do 2027 batch student. Okay, great. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let's meet again in the evening, 7 p.m. and we'll take this discussion further. We'll talk about each question, every question, and how you could have attempted it. What all things? First of all, we'll decode the question, and then we'll talk about what is required into the question and what is actually you need to write in this particular question. We'll also discuss introduction, conclusion, all those things which you need. But again, you'll be able to relate to it if you have already tried writing, right? At least tried writing, especially if you have finished history, geography, polity, history, geography and society. Please do write. If you have not finished history, geography and society, if you have only finished history or any subject of history, whatever topics you have already finished, at least select those questions and write. Maybe not complete paper, but at least those questions you should write. And meet us again in the evening session. See you again. Bye bye. Take care. Good day. Okay, Farheen, thank you. Okay, guys, see you again. Bye bye. Take care. Good day.